what's me? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast Don't Say Magazine describes as the one that initiates profound discussions with rock and metal artists, line fans, cover creative workflow, other famous musicians, and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. We are all sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computer needs. Get $100 off your entire bill. Code CPPod at darkfusionsystems.com. Link for the podcast below. We are also the number 21 ranked metal podcast. We're recording millionpodcast.com. Maybe we'll stop this when we get to number one. We'll see what happens, though. But on our feature presentation, thank you, Mr. Evan J. Thomas, for end up connecting us with this band. Evan, we're always on Badass Radio with them, so, oh yeah. This is Tim and David from the band Rahway coming at you. Their brand new album, Rahway, came out back on July 25th. We not only go into some of the crazy antics and tease some of the stuff that they got coming up. Beyond that, though, we dive deep into the rock-centric, riff-centric, guitar-driven-centric sound that Rahway has, and why, when music comes from your heart, that's when the authenticity comes into play, and that's when you really know you're doing something right. You guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, big thank you to our friend, Mr. Evan Thomas, for not only connecting us with this band, but for also working with this band here as well. We're going to get you into some hard rock that, you may have heard, you might not have heard, but if you haven't heard of it, you probably should, because you're going to have a damn good time with it. Coming all the way from the East Coast, they have their self-titled album, which came out back at the end of July. So if you haven't heard it yet, which you might not have if you're listening to this podcast, because you might be like, who the heck is this, Kevin? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to show you. We're going to do it right now. So please welcome Tim and David from the band Rahway to the podcast. So, gentlemen, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Thanks, man.
What's up, Chord Progression?
What's up, guys? How's everything going in your world today? At this point in time, I think the album's been out for just a little over a month. So how's life going? How's everything going? We'll start there.
We're getting spins. That's a good thing. Yeah, we got some radio report today. It's getting spins. We could be happier. Pavement has been a great partner. We're happy. Dave and I are definitely happy.
I hope you guys would be
100%.
happy. I mean, when it comes to radio right now, of course, I'm always curious, where are you guys getting spins from that report? Does it give you locations and, of course, time spun? But, of course, that's always my curiosity is where and which markets are really listening right now and getting the spins?
I'm seeing a lot on the West Coast. Most of our spins are happening in the U.S. It's internet. A lot of it is internet, since terrestrial radio doesn't really play anything anymore. Internet, Sirius XM, I mean, that's a little bit of a tough nut to crack, but we'll get there. We're getting a lot of spins in Mexico. We're getting spins around the world.
Japan looked good.
Japan looked really good. The UK looked really good. So who knows? I mean, maybe we'll just be one of those international bands. You got to unleash that Jersey attitude somewhere.
You kind of have to, and you're absolutely correct, too, when it comes to, it's going to be primarily on the internet, where classic radio, just in your car, over the airwaves, anything around there has gone by the wayside so terribly. It's so much harder to find anything of any substance on there, unless it's satellite radio, or unless you're streaming something yourself and creating a radio station off of that. Like just here in Milwaukee, 2 radio stations just got bought out. They'll be fully transitioned to Christian radio stations by the end of the month. And it's not the problem that they're being transitioned to Christian radio stations. It's we already have 2 here. They're adding 2 more, and we're losing, I think it was one of the pop stations, but we're losing the alternative rock station. So now they're
oversaturating.
Yeah, there's only 2 stations that would play any sort of rock or metal music. One sticks to anything before 1980, and one says they play the best in hard rock, but you'll hear Welcome to the Jungle one time every 45 minutes.
Well, we come from that world. Here in Jersey, we had that battle every day. We have a college station that plays hard rock and heavy metal, WSOU. Then we have WDHA down here in North Jersey. So there's really no place that we could get our music played. And South Jersey, there's a couple rock stations, and like you said, there's the classic rock stations in New York, Q104, and that's where Eddie Trunk spawns from. So it's like, I don't know, there's no place to really play around here.
Yeah, no, I'm not knocking those stations at all. Like, touch on your point up. two more Christian radio stations and a network that's already has 2 or 3. You're oversaturating the market, and you're driving everybody towards whatever's left.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Terrestrial radio is really not. Terrestrial radio is probably the best way to go. Regular radio is just not like them. It's if you ain't already rich and famous, they're not playing you.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not giving the population a new breed or a choice. You know what I mean? So like anything that you have to hear, you heard from a friend, or you saw it underground, or you heard it on a college station or an internet radio station. So it's that's a sad state of affairs. I hope that changes.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you're getting Christian radio. We're fighting with R&B here, R&B and like pop,
Yeah.
like K-pop. It's like, dude, when do we get? I mean, I could pass for K-pop, but not really.
Yeah.
I'd rather be getting K-pop than a bunch of more Christian stations that have an oversaturated marketplace, because then the biggest thing for me on that front is I remember like the alternative rock station here in Milwaukee, the amount of times that they'd be putting sponsorships together for live shows and bringing bands in that people really wanted to come see. And they'd be packing out the Eagles Ballroom here in Milwaukee, which is like 3,500, 4,000 people. They ended up putting together a show in the haunted pool, an acoustic set with All Time Low. And like, we're never going to get that again, because all of like the classic stations, the ones that would be playing this, any kind of hard rock or heavy metal music, they're sticking to the bands that have been, the ones that they know will make money, or the ones that they know people are going to actually tune in and listen to,
right?
Just because they want to keep that small audience that they have. They don't want to take the risk of trying to get a bigger audience and maybe alienating the small bit that they have, because a younger audience is going towards a place where they can discover more music more frequently, like TikTok or anywhere on the internet. But if you create a space and you create entertainment around that, in that classic space, it's very likely that people would be turning off their phones and may actually listen to the radio, because you're creating a product they can only get there. It's very similar to like if you go to baseball. Baseball attendance might be up in some places, it's down a lot of places, but why is there a team called the Savannah Bananas that's playing this ridiculous style of the most entertaining shit possible? They took something that was existing and made it entertaining again. Terrestrial radio could do something like that, especially with rock and metal, because if you gave us something in any capacity that was not only a shit ton of fun to listen to, but we got to experience new music consistently like we used to, oh my God, and people would be going goo goo gaga left and right for that.
We'd hope.
That's because the visionary's dead now. You know what I mean? All the people in these jobs, the underlings, the rank and file guys, they're just probably too scared to like bench out, speak their mind, because they don't want to lose their job and they want to stay status quo. So whoever's in charge, they're not the guy in charge.
Yeah, no one's taking.
He's like, this is our bread and butter. This is our bread and butter. But you're stifling the world from growth, man. It's. When MTV came out, video killed the radio star, but now radio's killing the musician, the star. So, like, you're not going to see any new talent. There's so much talent everywhere. I mean, it needs to be expressed. It needs to be heard.
I really missed that when MTV actually played music videos.
Yeah. Well, it's all about it, man. It's about nothing else,
Yeah.
It was
let's not break a new artist. Let's just break the bank.
Yeah. Once MTV found out that they could make much more money just by showing 8 people in New Jersey doing stupid shit and just maximize on that, they completely forgot anything with a semblance to music.
Well, and then 4 guys from New Jersey that do stupid shit. I mean, like, pick us.
They should have put you on there then.
Yeah.
We did more damage than Motley Crue and never left 5 years.
Yeah.
More damage than Motley Crue. I mean, that's a lot to say, because there's been a lot of escapades that have been publicized about what Motley Crue have done. How did you guys do more damage than they did?
You see that guy there? See that other guy? My partner in crime, ancient Chinese secret.
That's right.
I had to ask the question. I just didn't know what answer I was gonna get. And I'm glad that's the answer I got, because it's, well, fuck, I don't know.
No filter, man. We're me and this guy here. Well, I don't know where he is on your screen, but he's up there on mine.
I'm
We're
always
brothers.
above you.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, if you weren't above, you would beware. Beware. Come on.
No. PC's
No,
right though. We've caused a lot of damage here in Jersey.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that our story hasn't been told yet. That's the only problem.
No.
You know.
Well, I mean, we could take I would say we could take the time here and go into the story, but I'm pretty sure a couple of problems would come up with that. One, we wouldn't have enough time to cover the entire thing. Two, you know, what kind of publishing rights would be able to come off of just an episode like this? I know you guys would want to put something together like a book or like a memoir series that could actually detail all this stuff out in like step-by-step format, so that it then gets picked up by a Netflix movie contract, and then you guys become like the biggest band out there. That's like, how did it take so long to discover these guys? I would love to hear that story. I'd love to be a part of it, but maybe I'm just like the inciting incident at this point.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I was telling Dave about this. I'm actually writing a book. It's called Memoirs of a D-List Rock Star, the Loudest Guy You Never Heard Of. And it's about like always making it to that level of rock stardom, but then never jumping over that broom and being a rock star. Because something happened where someone wanted to break up the band, or the worst part was I worked in radio, I worked in PR, so I was hanging out with these celebrities. I have like Rex Brown on my cell phone on speed dial. You know, I should be up there, but I'm not. So that's what this book is about. Is just me and the struggles of like. You know,
you are to me, little bit.
What?
Are to me, little bit.
Yeah, but going to what you were saying, that's it's already in the works.
Well, shit. I mean, that's an interesting read though, especially because for so many musicians out there right now, especially in the age of TikTok, everyone wants to get that viral moment. Everyone wants to become like that popular person, and especially now with. I'm not going to say it's easier to become popular in that regard, but it's easier to have that moment over something ridiculously stupid. But then that moment fades in like 5 to 10 days because there's something new that comes out. And it's very, very few and far between that someone actually capitalizes on the success of something popping off on a platform like that. We've seen it work out before. Like, take a look in 2023 with Sleep Token. I remember, Chokehold came out the beginning of the year and it went crazy on TikTok. And it's like, okay, more and more people are getting into this. And right before that whole entire thing could die down, they released the Summoning, and they just kept doing that. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point now where they headlined Download Festival this year, which is
who was it? Was it I Prevail who put out that Taylor Swift song?
Yeah.
And then they blew up. They blew up right after that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it takes. I mean, it's, you know, I guess you just got to find the right thing that'll just pop. You know,
but I'll say the thing that makes me most interested about the book that you're going to write too is like seeing those moments that happen, and of course seeing what ended up taking away from that and what prevent you from making that like one big jump that was necessary, because so many artists that want to get to that point in time, they may have had that moment, but then we get to kind of get a further understanding of how much it actually takes beyond that moment. And so many other artists can finally learn and understand how much more it takes to not only get that, but then to just keep going and just keep like stacking those moments on top of each other to get to that point that you want to get to, because it ain't easy. The amount of bands we brought on the podcast here that have had those moments but never gotten to the jump. My God, I could probably send you half the artists that I've interviewed at bare minimum. That would be like, this book is literally about my story.
Yeah, this book is going to be relatable because, you know, Dave and I have been in this music business for quite a long time, you know, since we were kids. You know, we're old guys now. So it's like, you know, we've been through it all, you know.
Seasoned. We're
seasoned veterans. And like, so my story will be relatable to a lot of musicians who are trying to make it out there, because, you know, there's the ups and downs. It's what you the heartbreak, and you live with that, you know. There's some moments where, you know, Dave had a singer that this guy was on The Voice. He was just a big douchebag, so they had to get rid of him. Or he walked out. So no, but you know, if he would have stayed with them,
Yeah.
They probably be huge right now. You know, who knows? But
that's probably a fact.
But like I said, we all have those stories. Like if you're a struggling musician, you have that story, and I think that's why this book will be successful. I hope, because people will be able
Everybody's
to
got one.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got one, and everybody's got somebody to blame. You know, every village needs a scapegoat that they can ostracize,
Yeah, right.
demonize, and run out of the village. So
Yeah,
the key is longevity. Staying as a cohesive unit, regardless of the ups and downs. You know, you 4 different guys, 4 different personalities. So, like, it's like being married to 4 people. You
true.
know, and they all have stickles. And they still get their period, and you have to learn everybody's idiosyncrasies, and you learn acceptance, and you get along, and that's the longevity thing, and too many people quit before the miracle happened, because you write a sleeve of songs, and they're stand, and then everything's great, and you're doing the best you can, and then there's an argument, and most bands break up, but we keep moving forward, and a month or later, man, there's just a sleeve of new material, and you're like, man,
holy shit!
I can't believe we just wrote it. Just draw everything, and then that keeps rolling. And too many people just like F you, and you're a jerk, and blah blah blah. That's not the way it works, man.
No, and you know what? I've said this in other interviews too. Like Dave and his brother Steve are the Dave's the guitar player, Steve's the drummer. And when I joined this band, I found 2 brothers that are actually like me, like-minded like me. We love the same things, we love the same music. And all the guys that I grew up playing with are not playing anymore. These are 2 guys they're still playing. I'm still playing, and I found them. I don't, the world just works in the right way, where I found these 2 other dudes that are just like me. Luckily I delivered their Chinese food that night, and they were like, "Yeah, you can't leave, man. You play bass."
Did they just lock you in when you delivered the food, and it's just like, no, we found our bass player now. You can't leave anymore.
The people that faded away and they ceased to continue playing, it was, and I don't want anybody. It just, it was their hobby, and this is our heart. If it's in your DNA, like, I don't know. I might be risky. Like, I don't consider my bar play. Maybe, I'm a guitarist. Guitar playing is not what I do, but I'm not anything.
You sound funny, dude.
And Stephen playing the drums and singing and writing melody, and just coming up with music. And it's like, how did you hear what was did, man? You listen to the next thing, it's like, thought that was better than I thought it did. And it's because it comes from the heart. It's who we are. It's not like something forced. I don't play the guitar. The guitar plays me. It's like an appendage. So.
Don't let. I mean, if you could hear what he said, he's
no dead air, guys. Come on, no dead
air. You sound like you're coming out of a tin can.
Oh, you lost my audio.
But Dave, Dave is like one with that guitar. He's like, I've played with a lot of guitar players. He might be one of the best guitar players I've ever played with. He plays it down. He definitely plays from the heart. You could hear the stuff that he's written or actually came up with the riffs for. You could tell that it came from him. You could tell the difference.
Well, the big thing too, especially when it comes to the longevity of artists and the longevity of how bands can continue to go forward, is I think exactly what David was even talking about in there was, there are people that get into this stuff and it's just a hobby. And there's people that get in there where this is in their heart. This is what they want to do. This is their passion. And this is what they want to use their life for. And when you get people in there that have this creative vision, but their connection to it is on different wavelengths, that's where you get bands that just don't really make it that much further, because even if the music is absolutely phenomenal, the chemistry is just off, and you're only going to essentially go as far as the weakest motivation is going to let you go. It's like, a chain's only as strong as its weakest link. So if you've got a guy that just wants to keep it his weekend hobby and everyone else wants to absolutely achieve the highest level of musicality possible, you're just going to stay at that local level because that one person's going to end up just being like, you know what, we can put this off till tomorrow. We can put this off till next week. We don't have to practice and shit. But when everyone is so locked in on it, you know, you might not get to that point that you all want to get to because it's just the way that the world works and the way statistics work, but you're going to give yourself a chance to get there because everyone is on the same page. And as time goes on, you know, you're going to end up being that family. It's going to click and you just go through that process, and that's where the magic happens over the course of time. Very rarely do we see that magic come like lightning in a bottle on a band's first album. Does it happen? Yes. Does it typically happen though? No. Sometimes we don't see a band's greatest album until their fifth or sixth.
Right. 100%. You nailed the head on the, you know, on that coffin, because it was that what you just said was exactly the way it works in the music industry.
That's absolutely spot on. I couldn't agree more. Your point was
Yep.
Save
well executed.
6.5 years interviewing bands, you'll learn a thing or two when it comes to what makes a successful band and what doesn't. Even though I've never been in a band in my entire life, but I still love this shit.
You love music. I mean, you're learning through, you know, through musicians. So that's great.
Yeah, I get to learn by being able to talk to guys like you, or like I brought up earlier, like talking to LJ from Sevendust, hearing about how they record an album and how it's just like, how the fuck do you guys do this shit?
Yeah,
but it's absolutely incredible. Or or like when it comes to band chemistry, I got to interview Miles Kennedy one time, and just kind of like the connection that Alter Bridge has overall. It's just, they started out together and they still have been going for over 20 years.
Yeah,
as the same lineup.
It's that
they were Crue.
It's that scene.
I've interviewed Miles also. He's very mild-mannered, very sweet guy. And I told him, dude, you should be singing on Broadway with your voice. He's like, come on, man. He's like, I'm not like Sebastian Bach, who I'm flamboyant. I'm the guy that sings behind the stage. I go,
Sebastian Bach's not like Sebastian Bach.
Yeah. But I'm like, dude, come be a porter. But Miles Kennedy, he's and those guys are great examples, like Miles and LJ. We just opened for Sevendust at the Tropicana in AC. Awesome. They were very they were great. They were great to us. And their fans freaking loved us. So I've been a Sevendust fan for a very long time. So it was great to be able to share the stage with them. I talked to LJ. LJ knew my wife, so we actually talked for quite a while, and then we got a picture with him at the end. Dave wanted to fight the tour manager.
A piece of putz. Guys, a putz.
I'll say I haven't heard anything about the tour manager of that stuff, but every time I've heard Sevendust, and anytime a band has either opened for Sevendust or gotten to work with Sevendust, I've never heard a bad comment ever.
No, they're great.
No,
all
tremendous bunch of guys.
Yeah,
just like super nice guys, man. Super nice guys.
And when it comes to like a level of success, I always think like if you ever get to like a Sevendust level of success, you've absolutely won as a musician. Is Sevendust the biggest band in the world? No, they're not. I've seen them headline, I think their biggest headline show I've ever seen them headline was like a 1,200 cap room. Yeah. But every time I've seen them live, it is always packed. The fans are always absolutely into it. The show quality is 10 out of 10 every single time. Yep. And every band always talks about how much they respect Sevendust. They always say how well that band has treated them when they're on tour and how much they have learned from just being around those guys. If you have that kind of an impact on music and the people around you, my God, your music is successful no matter what.
And they're the hardest working band in the business too, if you ask me.
I was just gonna say that. There's bands like Sevendust, and you can legitimately say that's the definition of the hardest working band in the industry. They're a perfect example. Buck Cherry as well, one of the hardest working bands in the industry. These guys are playing 2-3 times a week sometimes, just pump it out regardless their job. But think about that. That's their job.
Right.
That is the most beautiful statement anybody can make who's a musician.
Right.
What do? I'm on tour. I'm at the job. I'm a musician. And they're doing what they love with their heart, man. It's not even like, I like fly fishing. You know what I mean? It's like, I love playing music, and this is what I do for a living. You completed, the essence of life.
Yeah.
What you're in it for.
Yeah. The Sevendust guys too, going back to the Sevendust guys, I remember when that record first came, that record came out on TVT when they were being managed by JJ French from Twisted Sister. That song Black came out, and I'm like, wow, this is fucking awesome, this song. That After that record came out, I think something happened where they had a falling out. They could have just folded, but they just worked their asses off. They kept on working, putting records out, kept on touring, kept on putting records out, touring. And look where they are now. They're like one of the most successful hard rock bands, heavy metal bands out there right now. So, I mean, like I said, I give them nothing but respect.
One of my favorite stories when I talked to LJ about this was every time I've seen him at a music festival, they always seem to be placed in the middle of the day when you could easily put them in a later spot in the day. They're always put at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. They're on the main stage though, but it seems like how they schedule it is there's only maybe one other band going at that time or no other band. It's like Sevendust is a midday headliner and everyone is there. And I'm like, I asked LJ, I thought, you guys could easily be playing later times of the day. He's like, yeah, but we like playing during like the early part of the day because then we get to watch our friends perform later in the day. I'm like, so you do this so you can support people? Dude, you're living up to like every expectation I ever had of you.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's a good observation though. I mean, I now that I think about it, every time I've seen them, it was like in the middle of the day, like Uproar and all those festivals. They were always on in the middle of the day. We played with them up at Rock Carnival in New Jersey. They were on in the middle of the day. I never even thought about that before, but yeah, good observation.
It's nuts. And the fact that you guys got to play with them too, especially recently, and their fans were really getting into your sound, especially with the new music too. That does not surprise me in the slightest, especially coming from Sevendust fans and the type of music that not only they like, but also the quality that they come to expect from music. So you guys definitely have some of that kind of connection if the Sevendust fans are like, Rahway, fuck yeah.
Some of them actually traveled and saw us in Pennsylvania. Some of them were in AC. They were like, dude, we saw you guys in AC. You guys were fucking awesome. I brought my kid. He loves you guys. And it was awesome to see these people again. They're coming back. They keep coming back to see us.
Hey, the more and more they come back to see you, the more and more you're making it known. And I want to get more and more people to see you too, but we got to talk about your music to really dive into that. And like we said, your album, the self-album Rahway, came out back on July 25th. There are how many songs on there? I got to make sure I get the number right. There are 11 total songs out there. Of course, right now you can go and stream them, listen to them all. We're going to dive deep into some of these. So when it came to writing this record, really getting deep into it, what was that thought process like? And what was the overall inspiration for this record, being in this stage of your career as well?
Oh, you answered it.
At first it was there were there were 2 individual EPs, and we combined them together to make the album out. And we did both of those on our own, and Pavement this up. So we think it's best to put them together. The fact is, the country in the world really hasn't heard them, even though they did pretty well on their own. Which is why they picked us up to begin with. But now it's like, with kind of support and backing and tremendous work that those people are doing over the Pavement, it's starting to really, really take off because it's global, obviously. But the writing process was, we wrote a bunch of songs and we locked ourselves in the studio and we dissected them and moved the parts around. Listened to it a couple days later and says, all right, well, that part sounds stupid, or that part's too long, and we switched it, or we shortened it, or lengthened it and moved over. And we thought we had this is solid. Like, we're coming in our own. Put that deep out, and it did fantastic. And we were writing the whole time. And kind of like this, I don't know what happened, but there's that moment at the end where everything just the moon and the stars and Saturn lines up with Uranus and Pluto. And we started writing the second EP, and it was everything was just bam, 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 just clicking. Chig would show up and he goes, man, I got this riff. And he would start off with this riff and do whatever I do with it. And made even more monstrous than it was just as the riff. And Nick and with the melody, the hooks and stops, and just unbelievable. And then we had one last song to do, and we didn't have one, and it's pretty much like cliche. Every band we had one more song. We did one more song. We didn't have one. We were gonna just throw another cover tune on there or something, or a B song that we had, and I said I'm gonna have a song for Friday's rehearsal, and I didn't. I had fucking nothing, man. And I'm sitting on my couch in my basement, and I'm just noodling. I'm like, man, I got to come up with a riff. I got to come up with nothing. And then it hit me Thursday before rehearsal, man. I'm sitting, I was like, I got a riff. I got it. It's monstrous. And I wrote another part, and I was like, yeah, we get a little bit of this, and then smooth it out, and I'll just show ties. And I just came up with the, just the main line. Like, let's take a trip on a rocket ship for two. That's all I had. And I came in Friday, man, all full of piss vinegar. My shins.
Oh, you do this, you do this.
And I told my singer to scream out. I sung it. I screamed it out the way I wanted him to do it. He did. And I said, when he's done, when he's saying it, again, first 5-7 seconds of that song, with the beginning riff. Let's take a ton of rock two in the riff. It was monstrous.
Best just flowed. And yeah, see, told you I could go along in like 10 minutes, man. I'm like the best. And that was it. And after we got in the studio with Mike Orlando over his Stomp, he's a guitar player for Adrenaline Mob, Category 7, not Nocturnal over Brazil. It's a phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal talent, all above. It was huge. Just huge.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback what Dave was saying, this, we're just a riff-driven band. Mm-hmm. Just come in with a bunch of riffs. You do this, you do this, you do this. And when he came in with Rocket Ship, which was our first single, damn, man, he's like, here, do this, and we'll play it like this, and this is the hook I want. And Nick, our singer, just was like, whoa, he's like, I love it. He just took off with it, and we came back to rehearsal in like the following week, and we had a brand new, our 11th song for the CD. But like Dave was saying, I don't know if you were able to hear him with his great audio. The CD is a combination of two EPs. Mm-hmm. We had an EP. We put out an EP called Slumlords of New Jersey, which was like our nickname, and then we came out with a CD called Sounds of Spanktown, which was the original name of Rahway, New Jersey. And we put them all. Each CD one had 5 songs, one had 6 songs. We put them together, and that's what you have as our debut self-titled LP with Pavement. But it was all written in the course of like what would you say, Dave? Like 5 years? No? Okay. So the course of like it was written in the course of like 5 years. One of them is a cover from Paul McCartney's Wings. We did a song called Jet. And then everything else was just like we wanted to write something that was heavy and just like grooving and guitar driven, and that's what we got. And people are digging it. I hope.
Well, especially on Rocket Ship, just the way the riff works. I mean, that definitely has much more of a specific groove to it. And the reason why I think, especially when it comes to why you guys are really connected with the music and why it comes out with more of that like riff-driven style and riff-driven build, is because like what was already being said around how you guys connect with music, like what David was saying, it's music is within him. It's just in his heart. It's in his soul. And with the guitar especially being like, another appendage for him, it's just what's going to come naturally out of that sound, what's going to come naturally out of that style, and just be exposed to what is going to be great overall. That's the beauty of where that idea comes from. That's the beauty of where a riff-driven band comes from and where the riffs are going to start, because, you're going to create a sound that's going to connect with a specific feeling or emotion that you're having at that moment, whether it's sadness, melancholy, happiness, something anthemic that you want to express a powerful emotion for, or if you just want to groove and have fun with something and just enjoy life at the moment, you're going to end up being able to connect with that overall feeling, maybe not explain it in words, but put it into a sound, and that's what's going to help build that overall song, and that's what's going to build a style of music that people that really love that guitar-driven or riff-driven inspiration are going to clamor onto and get into. They can tell the authenticity that's behind it at that point, no matter what type of riff you come up with, and no matter what pacing, what angelic way, what dirty, nasty, sludgy way it could be all over the spectrum. But if it's authentic and really comes from within you, people are going to pick up on it. They can feel that.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
You're a smart guy, Kevin. You're a very smart guy.
I'm a smart guy that makes some dumb decisions.
You want to join
Are
a band?
Are we all?
So if join a band, I'm not sure what kind of help I can necessarily.
You can join our band.
I can play the triangle. Ding.
We've invented the electric triangle, so you'd be perfect.
So it'd be. I'll say, knowing the stories that you guys said you've already about destruction and just alluding to it, you guys would wire that thing with 10,000 volts. So when I would touch it, I get like thrown backwards and electrocuted, and all of a sudden be like, yeah, that's what we call the lightning strike here at Rahway.
Yeah. True.
I have to go back to like the doctor and get just like for like every other week, just like, okay, how's the heart doing?
The Tesla triangle.
I took like 7 like lightning strikes this week or like the past weeks. What is that? Well, you don't want to know, or be like, here's a video now that shows it.
It'll go viral too.
Oh, it would be cartoonish fun. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Now, I know that, Dave, you already brought up Rocket Ship. It was one of the songs, especially that you really connected with. When it came to these songs, was there any other one that just stood out to either of you guys as like just one that was incredibly special, not only to make, but also to release to people as well?
Drowning. In my opinion, Drowning. I mean, I like the song In the Ass. Very driving song, but Drowning, man, that song just, for me, it grooves.
Yeah, Drowning is one of my favorites too. I mean, I love them all, but Drowning definitely has a special place for me because of what it stands for and what it means. And but I also liked Stone. Stone is another one that just drives, and that's actually a song that Dave and I worked on together before I even joined Rahway. Right, Dave? We had it in our side project, and we brought it to Rahway. We said, hey, this is a song that we have. What can we let's do something with it? And before you know it, the magic happened, and it just became Stone. But another song that really resonates with me to this day, I'm not a ballad guy. I don't really like ballads, but the song Sugar, every time we play it, man, it just gives me chills when we get to that hook. It just, we actually filmed a video for it during the pandemic because when we put Slumlords of New Jersey out, we were smack dab in the middle of the pandemic, and we wanted to shoot a video for Stone, but we couldn't because we were all, remember at the time, we were all quarantined. We couldn't leave our houses. So we came up with this idea to all film our parts in our houses as if we were quarantined, and then we were going to make the video like a Zoom style with all these boxes of people singing the chorus with us while we were playing. And it was like all celebrities too, like Don Jameson from That Metal Show was on there. People from various radio stations, PJ Farley from Fozzy and Trickster. He was on there. A bunch of local bands that we used to play with, they were on there. So, and a lot of it was just fan driven. Like a lot of fans just sent in them singing the hook to the song. So that, to me, that song always resonates with me also.
I can see Sugar really resonating with the fans as well, just given the fact that it does have a little bit more of that ballad feel to it, but it isn't like isn't the most overly expressive ballad. I think even my overall, I kind of called it like middle of the road ballad tonally because it kind of stays in there, and the vocals in the chorus do give it that uplifting feel, but it's the vocals in the verses just having that lively pattern to them that allow the song to soar higher in that positive ballad department. Where from a rock ballad standpoint, we're hearing a lot of ones that just have like a lot of drawn out emotion or really over the top expressive. This one had a much more lively, positive feel to it, especially being, you know, when you're trying to create a video for it during the pandemic, during a time of so much uncertainty. This is something that people were craving. You know, we needed some positivity in there. In life today, we still need some of that positivity. So being able to peek in on that and just bring that out in a completely different way, I mean, it shows a lot more strength in the song than I even thought was possible. So for me, Sugar was an absolute win on the album.
Wow. All right.
Thank you. I agree. I agree. And I thank you for it.
Yeah, it definitely it was a hit on YouTube. It got I think it got over like 10,000, 20,000 views within like the first week. People were really into it. So
took off really quick.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't surprise me. I think the other one you brought up too was another one you brought up. I know we brought up Drawing by the Stone was another one that got brought up too. And that one, just especially for me, it was that guitar solo that really stood out. There was a lot of like distorted sweeps in there too in the shredding style. So it brought in a different style. The transfer of energy from each part to the next, especially from the chorus, that guitar solo really worked out overall. So that when it came down to it, especially after song number one, if people are just getting into this and they start out with that song, that's an absolute winner for sure. You're bringing forward that like absolute intense guitar driven feel and riff based feel in a way that is more standoutish to not only allude to some of the greatness of these riffs, but also, especially as a collection of songs, what more is still yet to come from the dynamic that this album can take on.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I'm happy you brought up the solo, because out of all the songs that we have, I think that song, Stone and Drowning and Carry You, are my favorite guitar solos that Dave's played.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You will be getting a Christmas card this year.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I don't celebrate Christmas.
Well, you're still going to get one anyway. I mean, who can turn down a nice Christmas card from Dave?
No, yeah, that's true.
Really?
His Christmas cards are like him like laying there naked though, like Burt Reynolds.
Remember that? Sending Mike Honcho.
Yeah, Mike Honcho.
This year, you just got to go all George Costanza artist seduction style. Just get the tidy whities on, the black socks.
We have a picture of it. Dave posed like that at the Virgin Hotel in Vegas.
Yeah, I recreated that.
Damn. Not damn as in it, like you've created. More as like, damn, it's already been done, so I got to think of a different one to go with. Shit.
If you thought of something, we've probably already done it.
I don't know.
Stuff,
have you held up a book of like, you know, like poem, like it literally just says poem ideas from David, and it's just you naked with it in front and just says, let me put my poems in you.
I don't think there's a poem book big enough.
Not even one of those big, giant, like, storybook picture books that they read kids back when we were, like, 6 or 7.
Let me tell you something. This guy below us is a legend.
I don't even know what to say.
Guys, we're not going to need a book. We're going to need a tarp. Just a big, giant tarp.
Well, it's going to be...
We're going to need something bigger.
It's going to be a movie and a sequel.
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden you're someone go to Home Depot. We need more.
Need more.
Dave's a trilogy all in one.
Oh my god. Yeah, you got to add some good shit to that book, man. It's got to happen.
For sure.
It will.
The life and trials of being a musician, but then also some of the stupid shit you guys have done along the way. That's definitely got to get picked up as a Netflix like overall movie documentary movie. I don't give a shit what you call it, but
well, we have this idea. We don't know if it's gonna work, but we're trying to do like some sort of reality like YouTube show where it follows the band around after the post the CD release. The thing is, like, I don't know if we could get the band members to commit to filming their lives. Like, our singer's getting married, so it'd be funny to get his like whole reality of like planning a wedding, I'm the father of like 3 kids right now. And like I'm pulling my hair. Look, my hair is turning gray. I got to dye my hair for shows. Dave's doing interviews in his car. His brother, I don't know. He's got a lot of reality stuff going on. I mean, we're trying to do something like that just to see if it'll get picked up by a network or something, because we're 4 funny guys from Jersey. If those 8 idiots can get picked up, so can we.
Yeah,
I can't
seriously.
say idiots. I can't say idiots because some of them are really hot, but
No,
they're
you can say idiots come in my mouth.
yeah.
So let me think what we got here. So your lead singer is getting married. I mean, we call that Love is Blind Rahway. We could have, Building the Band Rahway edition. We could have, Rahway Family Values and just show exactly everything you're doing over here with the kids. And then, I'm trying to think of for the drummer in this one. I don't know. Didn't Bret Michaels do like a Rock of Love type thing? You could go through like his love life and just make it like a Bret Michaels freaking reality show from. That was either MTV or VH1, one of the two. But
we should call it We're Raw. We're going to F stuff up.
That would just be, hi, I'm Rahway. Welcome to Jackass.
Yeah.
What do you call this? We call this the lead singer getting married thing. And then just show his wedding.
He actually proposed to her on stage while we were opening up for Stryper in New York City.
Really?
Correct.
Yeah.
At the Palladium.
Yeah.
At the Palladium.
So
in
the
how messed up would it have been if she said no?
Oh, that'd been terrible.
Yeah.
So now when they do the, you may now kiss the bride, and they do the kiss, everyone cheers. There has to be a Stryper song that plays in the background. There has to be.
Yeah, right.
We gotta pick one.
Just pick one, and if they're not gonna set it up, just set it up yourselves.
To hell with the devil.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
That honestly would work well. When it comes to, with the album being out and with the rest of 2025 still happening, we got a couple months left and going into 2026. What's on deck for you guys? What can we expect from Rahway coming up?
Dig?
Well, next week we're opening for Dorothy, who's really hot. We're playing with her up at in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that. It's a Music Fest Cafe, which is a really big venue. So we're really stoked about that. And then I think we might be hitting your shores in January. I think we're playing with Scotty Austin, who used to be in Saving Abel.
Yeah.
We're doing 10 dates with him, and I think we run through Milwaukee for one of those 10 dates. So we will keep you posted about that. But other than that, it's just all promoting Rahway, promoting the CD Rahway, and promoting the band Rahway, and getting Dave into Playgirl. Something like that. I don't know.
It's not Dave, it's Mike Honcho. Come on.
Oh, Mike Honcho. That's right. That's what I meant.
He's seen it. Guy's sharp, Connie. You're all messed up.
He's good.
Just don't go and go full on spread your butt cheeks, be a little more coy with it, or a little more creative with it.
Yeah. Like tie it in a knot or something like.
Well, if you guys are coming this way, I'll say if you guys are coming this way and, next year, early part of the year, especially if you're stopping by Milwaukee, also knowing where Evan is from, because he's from the Chicago area, I am guaranteed if you guys don't keep me in touch with it, I'm going to get a message from Evan like, hey, Kevin Rahway's coming to Milwaukee. I'm going to the show. You want in? Well, yeah.
Yeah, you better be there. You're part of the family now.
Well, if I'm not there, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to pull up outside of the house, and next thing I know, I'm going to have Mike Honcho on top of the roof, just advertising Rahway, and I'd be like, my landlord's not really going to like that one. And then my girlfriend's going to wonder, why is there a naked dude on your roof? And be like, it's a music thing. You wouldn't understand.
We did play Chicago. We played Chicago back in May, Dave?
Yes.
We played Chicago with Scotty Austin also. But that was the last time we were on the road with them. But so we're going out with them in January. and we'll bring that van. And you ever remember that scene in Old School where they had these hoods on and they grabbed the guy and they threw him in the van?
Mhm.
That's what we're going to do to you if you don't come. So,
But you're gonna wait until I'm like coming out of the liquor store with a case of beer to do that, so you
Yeah.
can take the beer too, right?
yep, exactly.
Cheese balls. Beer and cheese balls.
Yeah.
No. No. The question is like we're talking about Wisconsin, we're talking about Milwaukee. Do you want cheese balls or actual cheese curds?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh,
That's true. I forgot
Oh.
about that.
I may go for the cheese curds. But I'm lactose intolerant, so I don't know.
I've got tits. Can you milk me, Greg?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, guys, as we wrap this one up, I got one last question I want to ask you, and the question is this. It's something I love to ask every single artist to bring on the podcast, a way for us to get to know more new music and for you guys to get to support the music you love as well. I got to limit this to 3 total, because otherwise we could go on forever. But between the two of you, can you guys name me 3 bands or artists that you love that you would love to see more people get into right now?
New artists?
New or old?
It could be newer, it could be older, just people you want to get more people to listen to.
Oh, wow. I don't listen to the new music. And there's so many bands play, we couldn't even get half the names.
You know we played with the Dead Daisies. I wish people would get more into them because they're a bunch of really good musicians. Really good musicians.
So that's our cast. The Dead Daisies are phenomenal. Doug Aldridge is like one of my heroes. I wish more people would get Plush. They're just phenomenal.
They're great too. Amazing musicians. That Mariah Formica can sing her ass off. So she's
amazing. The drummer's phenomenal. Drummer's outstanding.
So is the bass player, Ashley. Amazing. So
I wish it's a pipe dream, but Motley Crue's pretty much on. I think. They're one of my biggest influence, one of my favorite bands in the world. Yep. Then obviously Van Halen and Led Zeppelin at the very top. But I wish 6 a.m. would get together and start writing music. I think 6 a.m. is probably one of the best bands in the last 15, 20 years to come out as far as writing skills, formatting, melodies, just a breath of fresh air. James Michael, phenomenal writer, just a phenomenal writer. He's too good of a talent to not be doing anymore. His theatrics and his dramatics, and I'm not talking about stage antics. I'm talking about the theatrics, dramatics on the way he presents his vocals. It's just outstanding. It moves me, and I can't say that for any singers. Robert Plant, Dave Roth obviously was that guy all the chicks wanted, and it was fun. But James Michael is just powerful, very powerful.
Yeah. Are you familiar with them, Kevin? 6 a.m.
I am familiar with 6 a.m. Yeah.
Okay. Great. They're great. I'm 100% agreement with Dave on that.
I would say familiar with 6 a.m. Was not familiar with what was the other one, Dead Daisies, that was brought up.
Dead Daisies, they were great musicians.
But Plush, I've tried bringing them on the podcast so many times, and it just has not worked out to this point yet.
They're busy. They're constantly touring.
I know.
They have them on the road constantly. So
they're trying to they're putting them on the Sevendust schedule.
Yeah, right.
Did they?
No, he's saying that they work just as much. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're busy. They're a touring band, sure. They make their due.
Make good with it. They're doing well with it. Well, guys, I want to thank you for taking the time today for joining us on the Chord Progression Podcast. Get more people to know about Rahway. We're going to close this episode out with 3 things. First things first, when it comes to Rahway, when it comes to getting into the band and checking all the music they got out there, go to the description of the podcast below. There'll be links for everything down there for social media, where you can find their music, where you can stream it, where you can listen to it, where you can find them play live shows. If you get a chance to go and see them play with Dorothy at Bethlehem next week, go and do that. If you get a chance to see them, at the beginning of 2026, especially in your my neck of the woods in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, go and do that. beer and cheese curds will probably be, flying along. And if you see someone get kidnapped in a van, like old school style, it's probably me. So please help me out. I am asking you. But you can help me out right now by going to script of the podcast and following along with these guys, because that would be the most important thing. Now it's time for number 2, which is the most important thing for these guys. Whenever I've guests on the podcast and driven the podcast, I tend to make a certain promise way to say thank you. I appreciate you being on, and I wish to continue to support the band in the future. So when you guys make that run to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Evan tells me, he's like, Kevin, you better make it. If not, I'm going to kick your ass left and right, and these guys are going to kidnap you outside of a liquor store. I'm going to say, no, they don't have to kidnap me outside of a liquor store. I'm going to go to that show. But when I go to that show, you better introduce me to them. I'm going to meet them in person, say hello. But the real promise is that first round's on me.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Just remember, just remember, duct tape hurts more coming off than it's going on now.
It does, but I don't know how Dave knows that.
Hey, duct tape wax is a thing back when in high school, apparently. So that's how you learn. That's how you learn.
Hey, Kev.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family, Kev.
Welcome to the family, Kevin.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely appreciate it. And that's why number 3, we have to end it by this. We can't say goodbye. That is way too final. This was fun. I'm part of the family. You don't say goodbye to family. Beyond that, though, I made you guys a promise. I have to make good on that promise, and I'd love to do this again with you guys in the future on the podcast. Goodbye is too final. So we're going to end it by saying, I'll see you later.
You will.
See you later.
Well, folks, it's my interview with Tim and David from the band Rahway. Now it's time for Kevin's final thought. And man, this one was a lot of fun, actually. I'm not going to lie. And really being able to dive deep into just like the fun that is music in this episode, but how much it really comes out to be fun when you're talking with people that really care about music on the same level that you do. And you can care about music in much more of like a relaxed capacity. That's fine. That's totally fine. And you can talk about people that in that same capacity as you, and you're going to have fun with it. Me, I'm definitely more into it. And I know that when it comes to having these deep musical discussions, whether it's about, a guitar-driven, riff-driven centric style, it's going to come forward. It's going to sound good like this. And we're going to get that in-depth feel of, why these tones, why these styles, why these ideas come through so prevalently and why they work so emotionally connective. It's because of stuff like this. We also can dive deeper into the music as well. We can dive deep into the concepts of what makes musicians great, what makes music great, and why we love the stuff that we do. It's all about talking about the stuff which really drives me, and God, I love it. I want to thank Tim and Dave for coming on the podcast. And when it comes to Rahway, go script for the podcast below. Go follow along with them everywhere. Social media, go check out the brand new music. And, of course, catch them live when you get a chance. Be sure to do that. Become part of their family. They told me I was part of the family. Yay! Also, be sure to follow us on the Chord Progression Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, links below as well. Hit subscribe if you're right down here on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, hit or Apple Podcasts, hit the subscribe or follow button. Hit the like button to the episode to help push us in the algorithm. And that's going to be it for me today. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single episode. Big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah.